Hey guys. So this week, once again, no surprise, I have no topic, but I noticed something, and that is that every week I'm trying to more and more schedule exactly what I'm going to do and sort of structure it. And I told myself when I started the podcast that I did not want this to become a structured thing. I wanted it to be free-flowing. And it's incredible that this is not something I noticed myself, but I was reminded of by listening to another podcaster. And she is a German podcaster. And her last episode, and I hadn't listened to her in a while, and I don't know, something just drew me to her, and I just happened to click on her last episode, and in it, she herself, she's really famous in Germany, and she's doing amazing things. She has thousands, maybe even millions, maybe nearly millions of listeners, and she said exactly that. She said that her stuff was becoming so structured and professional and businesslike, and she was losing herself. And I really needed to hear that, because I do not want to become a business. I don't want to sell anything to anyone. I don't want to teach anyone anything. I have nothing to teach. This isn't about me knowing something that you don't know. And here I am to educate you. Not at all. I think this is what I've always wanted this to be, is a space where I can be myself, where I can be vulnerable, and also where you guys can listen and feel connected to that vulnerability. And like you're being seen. It's so refreshing when people are just themselves, just vulnerable, just, this is me, authentically. I'm not going to change myself. I'm not going to pretend. This is just it. There's nothing else to it. It's very refreshing, because I think it gives us the motivation and courage to also drop our heavy masks and just be ourselves. I think everyone wants to just be. No one wants to pretend. No one wants to struggle and try and be better than, the whole comparison, this whole rat race that society has us, stuck in, where we're being taught and force-fed this idea of you have to be better than the people around you, or you need to get to this level to be worthy or lovable. And it's so toxic, it's so unhealthy. And I really just wanted to have a space that's real. And I think over the last few weeks, maybe I have felt more pressure than I like to sort of bring content that is educational, even if I just didn't feel like it's my place to even talk about, because I'm only scratching the surface. So I'm going to try and remind myself every week that this is not about me having anything to sell or me having anything to teach. But all I really have to offer is my experiences, just me, my life, what I'm going through. Now, what comes up spontaneously is that we all have our own strength. We all have our own purpose. I had someone talk to me about that they were feeling quite jealous of a friend's ability to write really well. So they have a friend who writes poetry and is just able to really express their emotions on paper, using on paper, express their emotions in writing. And to work through that, what she did is simply acknowledge the jealousy and to allow it to be. It is an emotion. It's there because she would like to be able to write like that, and she feels like she can't. I actually haven't gotten in. I didn't really have a deep dive into it, so I don't know if she has even ever tried to write and felt like she failed or couldn't do it. But I told her, I tried to remind her that we all have our strengths and we need to find our own. And that doesn't mean that other people can't have their strengths. So basically what I was trying to remind her of is, be happy for your friend for being able to write so beautifully. It's their gift. It's what they have that gives them peace, that gives them relief, that gives them joy. And be happy for them, celebrate them for it, and then use that as a inspiration to find your gift. What's your thing? Because I could really relate to it, because I used to always be jealous of people who wrote really well. I wanted to be able to do it. I want to be able to write a book. I want to be able to write poetry. I want to be able to put my emotions on paper and share it with people so they can feel it with me, and I can't do it. But then I found, and I don't think this is my gift, but I found that talking is so much easier for me. I think I could talk for hours, just about anything. If I don't have the pressure behind it and I just talk naturally and at ease, I can just talk for hours and come up with I don't know what. And it's so healing for me. So I don't think it's a gift so much, but it's something that I really enjoy and that brings me a lot of joy and release. It's a way for me to express myself, to release emotions, to release energy, and to hopefully connect. Yeah, feel seen as well, feel heard, get feedback about, hey, you said, ABC, and I think the same thing, or the same thing has happened to me. And when there's that resonance, with other people, it's so beautiful. So yeah, I think we all have something. We all have our unique gifts. And sadly, when we grow up with this idea that we need to compete, it sort of isolates and separates us from others. And it makes us feel like we need to almost sabotage others because we need to be number one. We need to be the best to be worth something, and then it's not even about whatever you're doing anymore. It's just about the so-called reward, which ultimately is just the relief of, I made it, thank God, I am worth something, or I'm better than them, so I'm okay, I'm loved, I'm lovable, I'm worthy, whatever these underlying needs are that are not being met, or that hadn't been met as a child, that are not being met now. And we don't really look enough, we don't really look closely enough into ourselves to find what we actually need. And I mean, basically all we need is love, and connection, acceptance, to be seen, to be loved. That's basically all of what we all need. Underlying any of the stuff we do and other people do, it's all this strong need to be loved, to be just loved for simply who we are. And of course that all gets messed up by, us learning, sadly, that, in order to be loved, you gotta get an A on your test, or to be loved, to be seen, you need to buy this expensive car, and then the people will come and will love you, or you need to, perform, and you need to get this job, or you need to win this race, and then you will be celebrated. Then we will see you, and we will tell you how great you are. It's horrible. The more I see it, the more I'm just shocked at just what we're putting ourselves through, and our children, and our family, our friends. There's such a drive to compete, and really competition, all competition does is separate. There's no winning. I don't think anyone wins anymore. You just separate. Everyone gets separated. It's me against you. And it's all for exactly the opposite of what we're doing in a competition. We're dividing and separating, but the need that we're all craving is this love, this connection. And that's how we all lose. There are no winners in this race, really. So what do we have to do? What do? We sit still, we turn inward, and just find yourself, really do find yourself. Really ask. Don't even ask, just look. What's coming up? I think this is so subtle. I think there's so much that comes up, and we really just are too scared to acknowledge it, so we don't. And it's so automatic that we ignore it, that we really aren't aware. I think a lot of us are just simply not aware of what is really going on inside of us. I can speak for myself. I've had so much pain, so much doubt, fear in me that I just did not want to look at. The funny thing is, once I did, it was the most healing thing. And it wasn't that bad, I think the fear of looking at it and acknowledging it is so much worse than what is actually there. What is actually there are just pure emotions, just innocent emotions. And when you can finally really look at them and own them, then they stop running your life. When they stay in the dark, you they pull your strings, and you react and move through life, with them sort of weighing you down and also making you decide things or act in certain ways. But when you really look at stuff and bring it into the light, bring it into your awareness and make it conscious, it loses power over you. And I think that's why also it's so important to just bring your darkness to light, your hidden emotions, your hidden beliefs, your hidden, just the hidden part of you that you're too scared to look at, too scared to hold. But it is, it's so important for us to just allow all of us, all of what you are to come out and to be seen, at least by you. It's so healing. It's parts of you, they deserve to be seen. You don't have to be embarrassed about anything that you are, anything that's going on in you, anything that you've been through or that you've done. As a human being, take responsibility. But to do that, if you've done something that you just feel so ashamed of or embarrassed about, horrified about, the worst thing you can do is ignore it and push it away, because it'll continue to move you in those same patterns But if you take the courage to look at it and to bring it up and to love yourself despite all of it, and to heal that and to say, yes, I did that. I feel terrible, but I never want to do it again. It's not who I am. This is something that happened, and I take full responsibility. And in that responsibility, you're basically setting yourself free, and you're allowing yourself the opportunity to now turn your life around, or to turn yourself around, to say no more. And to do that, you really do need to love yourself and love those parts of yourself that you wish you didn't have, or that you wish didn't happen. And to understand that this too was something that you did because that was just the best you had at that time. And you didn't know what else to do, you know? So yeah, to get back to the actual story, you know, about my friend who was feeling jealousy because she wanted to write. What she did was, you know, hold her friend with love and feel happy for her to have the ability to write so beautifully, and to take that inspiration and that wonder and awe of the skill to look into her own life and think, wow, what do I have? What can I do to channel what's inside of me into this world? There are so many ways to do that. I mean, there are so many things people do that are just incredible. And we all have our gift. We all have our thing that is not even, you know, something like, oh, how can I help others? No, it's just something that is waiting to come out of you, that is just waiting to explode into the world. I don't even think it's a choice anymore. I think it just happens, you know, because it has to happen. It's so strong. I think when it doesn't happen, when people go like, oh yeah, but I don't have a gift, or I don't know my gift. I think the problem is when we are blocked, you know, when we're not in the flow of life, when fear is holding us back, when society is holding us back, when negative belief systems are holding us back, when we have these unprocessed emotions that are depressed, what's the word? That we're pushing down, that we hold pushed down, they block us. I think that's why it is so important and healthy to really allow everything to move through, to really, really see who we are and what's going on, all of it, and just accept it. You need to love yourself. You need to have this compassion for the whole of you, all of you. You have to. You have to do it. You have to learn to love yourself fully, fully, fully. And that will open something. And once that's open, and once you are in flow with life, then there will be no stopping you, because something will come through you. And this energy, this life energy, will start to flow through you, and you can sit back and relax, and it'll take you, and it'll do whatever it does, whatever it needs to do through you. You know, you become this vessel for something that is so much greater, and we just can't really grasp. And it's a feeling, we feel it. It's the same feeling when we fall in love. And this feeling of love, it is the closest feeling to what we are, to who we truly are. It's when our doors open, our heart opens, and nothing stands in the way. You know, it's just open doors, floodgates are open, and life way just comes through you. It rushes through you. There's no stopping it. It's the highest way of living. It's that same feeling, I think. So I think everyone can imagine or remember what it's like to fall in love or to be in love. And now imagine having that feeling every day. And not because of one other person, but just because it is just in you, and it's just coming out of you, through you. every second of every day. It's just there. Just because that's your nature, that's who you are. Who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want to live that way? And it's when you live that way that this energy lives through you and guides you. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking like that's where I am all the time, no. It is what I experience more and more, and that's my whole life purpose, just finding that and grounding in that, to step away, to let my mind, my programs crumble away enough for all of this life energy to flow freely all the time. So I'm not always there, but when I am, it's incredible. And I try to step out of the way to let this energy take over and guide me and live through me, so that I am more of a vessel rather than this little person trying to do what it wants to do. And it's too small. The person is too small to even have the capacity to dream as big as this life force that would guide you if you stepped out of the way. It knows so much more. It has so much more capacity, that it's really in your best interest and the world's best interest if we step aside, if we learn to just step aside. And it's not a weird thing to do, or like I don't know if I want to, it's scary. It is scary. You're giving up control. You're surrendering. But it's not something strange to do. I think it's the natural thing to do. It's what we're meant to do as human beings. We're meant to surrender. We're meant to step aside, because the moment you do, something in you relaxes so much that you just... I can't even explain it. It's the same thing. You are flooded with these feelings that feel like pure love, and you just, there's nothing to do. You relax, and you can actually start enjoying life. Suddenly this fear of a new job, or a fear of a presentation, or a fear of going on a first date, or the fear of getting through this illness that you have, it just softens and falls away. Instead of you being lost in this fear and lost in this little role that you're playing at this moment, something opens up, and suddenly you are this witness watching what's happening, what's going to happen next, how's that going to unfold, and then it's almost like watching TV. Imagine watching a movie, but you have the added benefit of sort of directing it while it's happening. And because you're in a seat of control, or no, sorry, not control, that's confusing. Because you are in a seat of relaxation and love, you can direct this movie you're watching in a positive way, in a helpful way, in a wise way. Do you know what I mean? So you're not coming from fear and reacting and, oh my God, and do this and do that, and clinging and pushing and, oh no, and we want this and over here, and let's make him do this. And then you're in it again. You're lost in the movie. But if you just, oh, how wonderful. Okay, let's nudge this way. Or, how's that going to go? Job interview. Oh, how's that going to go? Okay, make him research. Make him watch job interviews. Oh, make him talk to this person. He has this person in his life. He knows how to do job interviews. Let him talk to him. You can sort of see, like, this will be beneficial. Let's make that happen. Let's nudge him this way. But then if it doesn't happen, it's not like, oh my God, no, how did this happen? Oh God, we lost, or we failed. But it's just, okay, no, that didn't want to do it, or that wasn't the right way. Like I'm always reminding myself too, with this podcast, obviously I want it to succeed. Obviously I want to reach a lot of people. And I was told, and I said this from the beginning, I have to wait a year before I even analyze or check, what's going on. And I'm going to continue doing that. I'm going to stick to that. But part of me is quite sad about people not really responding or connecting with me, which was really what I wanted with this podcast. I wanted the connection. I wanted people to feel a sense of resonance, and I have to remind myself that not only to wait this year, but also this mightn't be my calling, but this might be a step on my way to something else. And doing this every week, record your episode and talk about the spirituality, talk about, self-inquiry, about always coming back to the self. Maybe it is teaching me something that I will need for my actual purpose that will come after this. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes in the moment we think I'm failing. Something isn't working the way it's meant to, or that I thought it was going to work. And there is a sense of failure. But we don't know where we're going to end up. We don't know why something is happening in a certain way and for what purpose and for what end result. Do you know what I mean? So maybe this is only setting me up to get comfortable speaking. Maybe this is setting me up to become more structured. Not structured, consistent, in that every week I'm getting out an episode. Maybe it's teaching me something entirely different from what I am thinking this is doing or what I'm meant to be doing. Do you know what I mean? So there's this sense of, if you can surrender and you witness your life rather than being lost in it, you can manipulate things. As in manipulation, it's such a negative word, but I mean, you can make things happen from this plane of being the witness. You can still say, oh, let's do this. This will be positive. Oh, make this happen. Make that happen. Kind acts and helpful things that will help the person or, yourself. But then if something doesn't work out, instead of going, damn it, and how did I fail? You are still in the seat where you understand, I don't know why this is happening in the movie. We're going to find out. So, there's no point in getting all bent out of shape or crying about it or feeling like something has gone wrong. Nothing's going wrong. Everything's planned to perfection. Your whole life, every step of it, planned to perfection. Don't have a doubt about it. If something feels like it's gone wrong, like, you're getting divorced, or like, oh my God, like this is the end. How can this happen? It's meant to happen. It's the right thing to happen. In the moment, it feels horrible and it feels so wrong. But in the long run, you're going to look back. And I don't know, it might take months, might take years, decades. I don't know how long, but you're going to look back and you're going to see why something happened the way it happened. There is no failure. There are no mistakes. None whatsoever. And I know this can sound harsh, especially if there's death or illness, sickness in your story. But no, there are no mistakes. Yeah. So what was I trying to say? Stop competitions. Don't compete with anyone. We all have our unique purpose. We all have our unique gift. We're all in this together. Celebrate those around you. If someone found their gift, celebrate them. No one has it easy, We don't all just... If you see someone with their gift, that doesn't mean that they've got everything, that they're happy and they're fulfilled. We all struggle. We all want connection. We all want love. We all want compassion. We want to be seen. We want to be heard. So be happy for someone if they have found their gift, because it will be something that will be very supportive for them on their journey in their life. You know, that it's something they can hold on to in their dark hours. And while you celebrate them, you know, find your own gift. And if you feel like you can't find it and you feel stuck, then work on unsticking yourself. Work on finding all the blocks that you've built inside of you and take them down. And yes, that brings us back to introspection, self-inquiry. Just go in, find all of your stuff, look at it all as much as you can. You know, like I said before, sometimes things are too scary and too big to look at, and that's fine. So look at all the other stuff that you can look at, and with practice, the bigger stuff will, you know, peek around the corner and slowly come out, so that it too can be held and loved and released.